using a UV-82 handheld radio. I just wanted to welcome everybody to the video today and want you to enjoy your time when you use the radio. Don't be afraid to speak on the radio and don't be afraid of making any mistakes. We all make mistakes, and as you watch this video, you'll probably catch a few of them. Okay, let's get started and talk about the UV-82 radio. I am Autumn Crest 5, Gary C. Decided to do a little video and helping familiarize ward members with this little radio that seems to be the choice of the Spokane East Stake. There's most of these used within the wards. I just want to quickly go over some of the buttons we'll be using today. This is the volume, on and off volume button. So you turn it clockwise. Make sure you turn a good quarter turn so it comes on and you hear it say channel mode. On the top, we have a transmission light. It will turn orange when you push on the transmit buttons. This will turn green when the radio is receiving a signal. This is a little LED light on top that can be used as a flashlight or a strobe light to gather attention. These are the transmit buttons, A and B. It'll show you A and B display. Top was A, bottom was B when we turn the radio on. The F button goes into alarm mode if it's held in. If it's pushed and released, it will tune to a radio within the community, a public radio system within the community to pick up alerts or information if used. This is the button that turns on the light. You notice that there's labeled M. We'll talk about that in a minute. That turns the little flashlight on top. A single push turns on regular flashlight. A push and a hold will turn it to a strobe light. Okay, the buttons that we're going to use mostly are the up and down buttons to change the display on the screen. The exit /AB button we'll be using, and the lock button. The rest of these buttons are pretty well used for programming, so we won't bother with those today. On the side here we have a jack for a headphone or for programming the radio or for a microphone to hook to it. On the back we have a belt loop to attach it to your pants or whatever you have to clip it to, shoulder back or whatever, and the battery is located on the back. Okay, while I'm on the back here, I'll go ahead and show you how to change out the battery. The battery has a push button on this side of the radio and a push button here. It's made to squeeze between the thumb and forefinger. I always kind of lift the belt retainer up a little bit, and as you see, it stays pretty flat with the radio, and you just pull down on it. As you see, this one's labeled AutoCrest 11 on the radio itself. To return it, you just lay it flat on the back of the radio and shove upward. Goes on very easy. This is the charging stand. You'll see that there's two contacts in the back that need to make contact with the back of the charger. To help do that, you'll notice there's a groove on each side of the battery, exactly opposite each other. And in the charger, there is a rib on this side and a rib on this side. Let me see if I can get a little better light in there. Okay. You line up the grooves in the battery. You can tell now it's secure in there. And it sits just like that on the countertop or where we choose to place it. When it's in charge mode, this little light indicator here will turn red. When it's charging, it will turn green when it's completed charging. Please don't leave the radios in the charger for long term. Plug it in, put it in the charger overnight and take it out in the morning if needed. If you notice it down before radio net, go ahead and put it in the charger for a couple hours, but remember to return it to the charger if it still needs more charge. But just don't leave them in the charger for any length of time. 6 to 8 hours overnight or through the day would be fine. Okay, we'll go ahead and demonstrate the buttons and how they work. Now this radio is programmed for autumn crest. And what that means is when I turn the radio on and turn the volume up a little bit, you're going to see a display here on the top and a bottom. It's going to say Autumn Crest 11 on the top line, and then it's going to have the name of the person that it's assigned to in the ward council. That name is limited to 7 characters, so it's either first or last name. With that, and when I turn it on, we'll see if it's in the lock mode or not.
Channel mode.
Okay. And we see the display come on. This is the Autumn Crest frequency. This top line is Autumn Crest 16 on display A. And you'll see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more here. Let me move the radio over. And you're going to see this is the Autumn Crest name. Autumn Crest 16 is on channel 9. And I have it set up right now. So both displays are on Autumn Crest 16 on channel 9. And you will see this little key, which means it's locked. No matter what buttons I push on here outside the transmit buttons, this radio will not change from one channel to another unless it's unlocked. You can see the battery indicator here in the upper right. This has got 3 bars in it, which indicates a full charge. If it gets down to 1 or 2 bars, I would think about charging the radio. Okay, S means simplex, H means that it's set to the highest power the radio has to transmit. Now this radio will stay in the, I'm going to say, the reception mode or the listening mode for a long time, at least a day, probably a day and a half in the listening mode. When you push the transmit buttons, and I'll show you right now how I'm going to do that. I'm going to push the transmit button, and you'll see the screen turn to a blue color, or an orange color, I'm sorry. It turns to an orange color. You notice this little arrow right here is the bottom transmit button. Let me back out so you can see this a little better. Okay, here it is. The screen's locked. So no matter which one of these buttons I push, I will be transmitting on the Autumn Crest frequency. So when this radio is locked or on the displays like I have it here, it doesn't matter which button you push. Now this radio has a program in it where it allows it to monitor 2 channels at the same time. It's called dual watch. So I'm going to unlock the radio, Now you notice that the little key went away up here. I guess I didn't hold it long enough. You gotta push and hold
Unlock.
it. You heard the radio tell you unlocked. Okay, if I move this to, I'm gonna move this bottom one. Well, I'll move the top one so you can see how to move. I'm gonna move this arrow up to this display, and I'm gonna do that by pushing this exit AB. AB means the two displays. I'm going to push it once, and you see how the arrow jumped up to the upper display. Now I'm going to change the channel. I'm going to go down one to what is called stake 15. I'm going to push the down arrow
8.
to stake 15. Now, if I want to keep the radio there, I would lock it.
Lock.
So it stays on those two channels all the time. Now you notice that the stake 15 arrow is up by it, and now there's nothing down here by the Autumn Crest 16. I'm going to turn on another radio, and I'll show you how it jumps back and forth here.
Channel mode.
Okay, I'm going to broadcast on Autumn Crest 16. You'll see the little arrow jump down to Autumn Crest 16 to recognize there's traffic coming across it, and you're hearing it. See how the little arrow jumped down? Okay, I just released it. It stopped. Now, if I want to talk to on channel 16, all I have to do is push this button. And I'm talking on 16, the bottom button, the B button. I release it, and it stays there. More traffic comes across, it starts to flash on that channel. I release it. Okay, now I'm going to jump up to stake 15. Now you'll notice the little cursor jump back up, and there's transmission coming across from stake 15. And to respond to that, I push the top button. And now I'm transmitting on stake 15 by pushing the top button. Just remember which button you gotta push. And that little indicator is gonna stay there until
Frequency mode. Channel mode.
Until there's another transmission. I'll go ahead and show you how the earpiece works if you want to try and use it. This is how it works. Sometimes you need to free up your hands to be able to do other things. And the earpiece is a good functional way to do it. As you can tell, it goes in only one way. And you make sure it's seated completely in. The earpiece itself can go in either ear by just turning the speaker portion of it around for the ears you want to put it in. On the cord that, let me see if I can back out here a little bit. On the cord is a 2-button system also. The closer to the earpiece, which is up here, this then becomes the A button. The bottom one becomes the B button, and it acts just like the buttons on the side of the radio. So if I want to talk on stake 15, I push the top button and keep it pushed and communicate what I have to say. If I want to talk on Autumn Crest, I push the bottom button and continue to speak and what I want to say. The volume for the earpiece is controlled on the volume knob. So this is just a mirrored connection, just like these buttons on the side of the radio. Okay, continuing on. I'm gonna go ahead and return this top display to AC16. I'm gonna unlock.
Unlock.
I'm gonna put the cursor up on that. I'm gonna push up. I got it right that time.
9.
Up. Now I'm gonna lock it. This
Lock.
is the way that these radios are going to be used about 99.9% of the time. Okay? And I want to explain one other important feature. If you have those little family radios that you take camping or to amusement parks, most families have them. This number that follows the ward designator, like Autumn Crest 16, 16 means that if you take that little family radio and turn it to channel 16 on its dial, you'll be able to talk to this radio. Okay? Same way if this said opportunity and they had a number, and that number would be the same thing that's on their display or would be able to talk on that little portable radio on that channel. Whatever this number is represents that little channel on those family radios. Okay, and also a good thing about this little radio, I'm going to unlock it again.
Unlock.
It will tell you what channel you're
1
on
0
as
1
you push
1
up on it.
1 2.
Now this is the Dishman Hills, and their little family radio works on channel 19. Okay.
1 3 1
So
4.
you'll see it tells you.
1
And if
3
you want to go away pretty fast, you can just hold it down.
9.
Okay. And then lock it.
Lock.
And it tells you it's locked. If you should ever turn the radio on and it says frequency mode, that means somehow it got turned off and turned on with this menu button. Is turn the radio immediately off, push the menu button, hold it, and turn the volume back on.
Channel mode.
It will return to channel mode. The only time this radio can be reprogrammed is if it's in the frequency mode. So we don't want to go there unless we're told and given instructions to how to do that. So, okay, I think that's it. I'll give you a few tips on how to use the radio. When you use this radio transmit, hold it vertically in front of you with the antenna straight up. Take and hold it about 8 inches from your mouth and push the key, begin to talk, complete talking, and then release the key. Now the voice you want to use is just a little bit louder than what your conversation voice is. You want to speak just a little bit slower. So your communication only needs to go through one time. So there you go, folks. The end. Hope you got something out of the video. Have a great day.